Good morning, Philadelphia and all of the ships at sea. This is your girl, Amber E, with the piping hot tea. This is my tea. What's yours? Oh, now you all know that I love the cold weather. I love this time of year. Just make sure that you stay buttoned up and make sure that your immune system is doing its job, because we in Philadelphia are having a cold one today and it's raining. So make sure that you take care of you today. Either way, I'm not complaining. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that we're back in a cold space, but y'all know how I do. I hope you've enjoyed your week, everyone. I know it's been an interesting one, and as you all know, we have quite a bit of tea to spill today if you've just been paying attention either to Germantown Radio, which I hope you listen to on a regular basis, hey, or if you are looking at the news or outlets. I know it's a lot, but as I always say, we are going to get through this. I've got you, you've got me, and we've got this. But before we get too much into everything, today's tea is a lovely blend. It's a mint tea, and it was actually from a local business owner here in the Germantown area, and so I am so grateful for this mix. It looks and smells delicious. Good morning to everyone listening and watching. When I took it out of the satchel, and today I'm actually brewing out of a satchel. Is it still loose leaf? Yes, but it's in a satchel. It's not ground up. This stuff is so powerful. I'm looking forward to sipping it with you. But I really hope that you are enjoying your week. Let's get the honey out, because again, the honey makes a difference, honey. Am I allowed to say that? It's all good. The honey makes the honey makes a difference. So we're just going to go ahead and pour. Oh, my goodness gracious. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I guess I do want to get ahead of myself. That's fine. You know, I normally have my shout outs a little later, but this is a bit pressing. Today's shout out goes to all of the Eagles fans who still hold on tight to the Eagles even after the week we've had. I know. I know. I had a chat with my cousin about this. It's been a wild one, hasn't it? We got to make sure that everything comes together for our birds, but we've had a rough one. So if you are the kind of Eagles fan who, despite the fact we've not had the best performance this week, but you're still loyal to your birds, you're not trash talking. Okay, I'm just going to say for the record, do not around me trash talk my birds. I will not take that. Why? Because in remembrance of my mother, who never saw the Eagles go to one Super Bowl, one thing Sylvia Earles was, and I guess always will be, whatever, was loyal to the birds. Always loyal to the birds. Why? Because they're our team. Come in if you want to. They are my team. So because of my mother, I've always been pretty loyal to my birds. But spoons up, round and round's a dreadful show. Back and forth is how we go. From 6 to 12 and back again. Back and forth to stay within. I am looking forward to this tea. It smells fabulous. Ah, goodness gracious, this is going to be good. Yes, yes, yes. Back and forth. 6 to 12. Back and forth. 6 to 12. Now that we no longer do Tea Tuesday, but I'm on Tea with Amber E with all my listeners, I'm going to have to go into the origin of where the round and round comes from one of these days. Not today, but in any event, we're going to have to talk about that because it's not an original. I did not make that up, but we'll talk about that another time. Let's see this. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I love a tea that you know you can get 2 or 3 cups out of one bunch of it. This is, oh my. Oh, yes. This is delicious. I'm going to back and forth this a little bit more so that this honey can get a little more incorporated. And again, it's a mint mix. It's an herbal mint mix, and I'm just loving this because the thing I love about mint is that you can feel it. You get all the menthol from it. It's in your ears. It's on your palate. The whole thing sings like a Mahalia Jackson song circa 1963. Can I say that? Auntie, I know you're watching. Can I say that? Oh, yes. This is so good. Oh, my goodness. Now, like I said last week, this is the kind of weather where you enjoy a hot tea. This is perfect. See, this is where I wish I had a porch. I don't right now, but someday I will. You know, a porch with some ivy around it and some twinkle lights, the whole nine. That's the dream. Keep dreaming, everybody. But, oh, my goodness. I have to, oh, my God, this is so yummy. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Next time we're winning, discuss. That, oh my goodness gracious. I'm just having a tea moment. Thank you all for indulging me. This is so nice. Oh, I'm enjoying my tea moment. This is so, so good. Woosah. And yes, I needed to woosah before we got started because we have quite a bit on our table today, on our tea table, if you will. A couple of announcements. Please do not forget, as I mentioned last week, if you are a business owner in the Philadelphia or even outside of the Philadelphia area who is interested in learning more about business, who wants to be around other business folk, who needs to know more about what you're getting yourself into, or just needs to connect, there's something happening called Real Talk. And again, that's going to be moderated and hosted by Germantown's own Dr. Nariette Butler. And she, of course, is the CEO of the Over the Goal Women's Business Academy, and that is on Saturday, October the 25th from 10 to noon. Go on the Eventbrite page, there's more information there, but this is going to be a wonderful experience. Look, at this point, I am waving the flag for making sure that as a community, we circulate our own income, we support our own neighbors, making sure who your neighbor is. I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe like a month ago or so. But when I was growing up, you knew who your neighbors were. To the point where if you did something stupid and somebody saw something, and this is a shout out to Miss Edna, who's been watching. She's my friend Kalima's, my late friend Kalima's mother. I hope you're doing well, Miss Edna. Love and light to you, ma'am. If Miss Edna or Miss Cheryl or Miss Diane saw Amber doing something crazy, you don't get away with anything because your neighbors were watching you. And it's not that your neighbors were snitches, quite the contrary. It's more that your neighbors were making sure that everyone was taking care of everyone, that we were all protecting one another. Anthony Gaithers, how you doing? Anyway, I just want to give a shout out to that because again, we all knew who we could be safe around, so on and so forth. So if you don't know your neighbors, if you don't know who the other businesses are in your area, now's the time to get to know, because there's so many things that are looking to divide us in our city, in our country, in our world, that if we don't band and rally together, I can't say that it's going to go downhill. I'm not pessimistic in that capacity. I never will be. But what I will say is that we are stronger together than not. And for that alone, get to know someone around you. By the way, you know what? Another shout out to Miss Claire. She ran into me after seeing my show last week and she said, Amber, I heard your show and I liked what you said about your little assignment, getting to know people around you. So here's my question. Who did their homework? Did you talk to somebody new this week? Were you able to connect with someone else? Have you spilled the tea with somebody? Have you talked to somebody about tea in general? Do you like tea more than coffee? And by the way, if you like tea more than coffee, I'm not one of those tea drinkers who looks at you like, that's not how I roll. Because contrary to popular belief, I am also a coffee drinker. But again, did you do your homework? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's my first announcement. Again, Real Talks on the 25th. I'm so excited for it. Also, a quick shout out to the Welcome Table. Last week we had something called Community Conversations, and for those of you who listen to my show, you know that the Welcome Table is where I've done my lectures on Black women in the Civil Rights Movement, on John Lewis to Jasmine Crockett, on the ongoing themes in the history of African American poetry, on Juneteenth, just to name a few. We will be having, date to be determined, but there's a lot happening at the Welcome Table. One thing in particular will be knowing your rights for our seniors in our area. There's a lot happening and there's so much information out there. On the one hand, my argument is that we have so much information out there, we can't afford to not know what's happening because it's all on our faces. That's one side of the argument. On the other hand, however, it can be kind of overwhelming. Again, there's so much happening in your face that maybe, just maybe, it's like, well, where do I get started with all this? Who do I talk to? What do I listen to? And on the other hand, now more than ever, vetting is exceedingly important. I did see Zelda Williams this week, got very frustrated with people sending her AI videos of her late father, Robin Williams. Again, I kind of get her argument, actually, that, you know, I know that you're trying to encourage me with videos of my dad doing X, Y, and Z, but it's painful. And then, of course, there was the scare that we all had when we clutched our pearls and went, Dolly Parton, are you okay? Is Dolly all right? And of course she gets on there and says, I'm not Dan. And then Reba McEntire, who also with AI was told that she was pregnant, piggybacked right after Dolly and said, you know, Dolly is too young to die and I'm too old to have kids. So where are we getting this? So again, I know that there's a lot of information out there, and I, on Tea with Amber E, do my best to vet my information so that you know, and this is the educator in me, that even if information is changing on a dime, I'm trying to be as up to date as possible so that I can support you, my listeners, my watchers, support my community. And also, and this isn't vain, this is just me like doing what I do well, I like knowing what I'm talking about. You know, taking a sip of tea for that. I'm having another tea moment, y'all. This is too good. Leave in the comments what your tea moments look like. Are you the kind of person who just kind of sits in it and you hear Yo-Yo Ma playing in the background? Where, I'm going to paint a picture for you. You hear Yo-Yo Ma in the background. It's boxing you at number one. You're enjoying the moment. The tea is dancing on your palate. You are warmed down in your ears and in your toes. WHYY is still playing public television. Or are you one of those tea drinkers who's like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I'm having this moment. If y'all talk to me right now, I don't hear you, go away. Wherever you fall in the lexicon, I hope you're enjoying your tea moment. So now that I've had at least 2 tea moments, and I hope that you're enjoying your breakfast or your scone or what have you. And like I said last week, please make sure, sorry, I'm touching my nose. Please make sure that you don't do this on an empty stomach. I know it's tempting, but be good to your body. And again, this is an herbal versus a black tea. So of course there's going to be a different effect. But don't laugh at me, Auntie Natalie. I'm just enjoying life, y'all, and I'm so glad you have a front row seat to it. But before we get too deep in the tea moments, I have a couple of other things to share with us on Tea with Amber E. My goodness gracious. I thought that we were done with this about a month ago, but we're back. As you know, for those of you who listen and or watch on a regular basis, I was talking a lot about SEPTA, for those of us who take public transportation, about how earlier in the beginning of the school year, shout out to my students, because Philadelphia, before I get to that, Philadelphia's educational system is on the uptick. Student-teacher ratios are up. We're still struggling a little bit with a couple of subjects. Babies, I trust Miss Earls, you know, she believes in you. But our scores are looking up. I'm so proud of all the kids. See, I guess the educator in me is always going to be like, I am rooting for every student. Like when I see the babies coming out of certain schools, I'm like, just get them home safe. Oh my goodness. I love seeing y'all just on the uptick. So as you recall, in the beginning of the school year, I was very concerned that there was going to be an issue with cutting certain bus routes and the regional rail and so on and so forth. And as you all know, there was a we had free, how do I put this? That was taken care of. The bus routes were put back. The regional rail was good. Things were great. As recently as, and check my notes, 3:41 p.m. yesterday, I don't like absolutes. All of the regional rails are in jeopardy in some capacity. They've actually been shut down due to, in addition to things, electrical problems. And so there's not panic, but there's a deep concern about what this is going to mean for all of us. You know, how are you going to, I said, this is like a broken record. How are we going to get to work? What are we going to do? How does this affect our commute? So on and so forth. How does this affect businesses? How are we going to get there? So, if it's not one thing, people, it's something else. My goodness gracious, today, what I'm looking to do is, and I hope I can show this maybe, if not next week, if not next week, maybe sometime in October or maybe November, I want to look to see if there are any organizations that can still help. One thing I did talk about back when the buses were in jeopardy was that there were quite a few nonprofits in the Philadelphia area that were looking to give seniors in particular free Uber rides, that they had partnered with Uber so that would be, if you had a code, a way to get to where you need to go. I don't know what that looks like now, but again, regional rail is in serious jeopardy, y'all. And if you know someone who knows someone, leave in the comments any organizations that you know of, because we have to help one another. This is not the time to be islands into ourselves, good people. Really, what do we gain from that? At this point, we have to make sure that we support one another. So, oh my goodness gracious, there's a lot. to be aware of, in addition to the government shutdown. I read an article this morning before I got here that we're also looking at another week of this stuff. No, I'm not going to use that word. Yeah, it's not tomfool. No, we're not going to go down that route. We're still in this. Oh my goodness, I'll just say it as we see it. They're looking at my notes. We are in jeopardy of over 4,000 workers getting layoffs next week. And again, there's still blame on one side. If you just would yield and do X, Y, and Z, then we can just fix this. And people are waiting and so on and so forth. Guess what? This is bigger than you at this point. Now we're dealing with people's livelihood. And again, there's nothing new under the sun. This is not the first government shutdown we've seen in the last few administrations. The last one happened under But at the same time, what are we going to do? I by no means, thank you Anthony Gaithers, you rock. I by no means am, I'll put it this way, because again, as a wordsmith, I like to choose my words and my vocabulary and my self-expression very, very carefully. I'll put it this way. I want to say it's from the movie Enough, with Jennifer Lopez. And I took a self-defense class when I was a sophomore in high school, believe it or not, where it's about a woman who is having a really terrible time with her husband, so on and so forth. And her trainer says to her, we can bend the universe to our will, but it will only go so far. That's my takeaway from this. Again, you all know my question is always, what is the takeaway with things I see in the world? So my takeaway from this right now happening with the the government shutdown due to healthcare is, you can bend the universe to your will, but it will only go so far. I will leave it at that. And for my family members who rely on Medicaid, I know we're going to be okay. But my goodness, we have work to do. And this is my clarion call. Taking a sip for this, because I need to pep myself up. Take me a second. Delicious. Yes. Oh, yes. So good. Oh, I love it. Yes, I needed that pep. This is my clarion call to all of my listeners and all the people who will watch this, or anyone who is looking to get involved. Question 1. Do you know where your community boards are in your grocery stores? I know that Germantown has quite a few. I know there's at least one in the Weavers Way. There's a couple. Do you know where your community boards are? Do you check them out? There are people in your neighborhood who are waiting for you. There are things that you can post on your boards so that people know that you are waiting for them also. That's how we stay stronger as a community. Know where your community boards are. Number 2, like I said a bit ago, who are your neighbors? Make sure that they know that you are looking for them also. This is the time to stay connected, guys. And again, I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again. But really, that's where my heart is right now. Because again, with the government shutdown, with SEPTA Regional Rail happening here in Philadelphia, there's high levels of anxiety. Let's do something about it, y'all. Let's really get to a point where we're not all islands into ourselves, and we're not all afraid about what's going to happen if we lose one more thing or one other thing. You know someone who knows someone who knows someone who's going to have your back. And that's not just your family members. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But you better know who Miss Jones down the street knows, because even if she doesn't have a TikTok account, she may know more about life than you do. And you might need to know what Ashley is doing, because she may only be 7 or 8 years old, but she may have more of a hold on things happening in your world than you do. So let's make sure we stay connected. I do want to give a bit of an update to what's happening also with a bit of pushback. Quick segue. As I said in the beginning of my show, the Eagles are having a bit of a tough time. We lost 17-21 to the Broncos on Sunday, and then we lost 17-34 to the Giants. And you know, I am now and forever, even as I'm wearing green today. How about that for a funny coincidence? I'm now and forever go Birds. What do we take away from this? I know that when the Broncos, you know, they beat us. I don't like saying words like that. Ugh. When they beat us, it was like we needed this loss so that, you know, if we've had it too good for too long, we get the wake-up call that we all are talking about, blah, 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 blah. Yes, that I can get behind. And then when the Giants beat us 17-34, it was like, okay, y'all, what is our takeaway, people? We're awake. Can I say woke? We're really awake right now. But now we gotta shift some things and put them in gear. So I'm using the metaphor of my team, Go Birds, as another way of saying, y'all, are you awake? Yes. At this point, we got to put some things in gear. For example, if someone is going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show and you feel the need to have a separate show because you don't like X, Y, Z, there's something wrong with that. Yeah, that rubs me the wrong way because the question, I think that's absolutely it. Somebody's watching this live. Stay humble. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you, Natalie. Staying humble at this point is key because again, humility has two meanings. It means to not be proud. It means to be low to the ground. So if you are finding an alternative to the halftime show because this bothers you or there's a language barrier, whatever like how old are we? Why are we not humbling ourselves or do like a lot of people do between the first, half of the game and the second half of the game? For goodness sake, go to the bathroom, get some more wing things, do something else. Having to go through all these changes to me shows your true colors, and I think that's tacky, and I don't think it's fair because what it does is it shows the ugly behind somebody's motives. That's a problem to me because you don't have to agree. And sure, finding an alternative way is fine. But the question behind it that I'm asking is, why are we going to these lengths to prove a point? Why not just if you really don't like it, why not just turn off the television? Why not take a 30-minute long bathroom break? Why not go to the store, see if they have any more cans of soda and come back and say, oh no, we're out. It's over. Why not? Oh, look. We have too much blue cheese, but we're out of carrot sticks and celery. How about I go to the store and get some, like why do we have to do all this? Because I don't, and leave in the comments if you know better than I do, I don't think there's ever been a length like this happening. Now remember, back in the day of the Super Bowl, it was really just a show that Disney put on, and it was kind of corny, and, we had people holding batons and, doing lines and kicking our legs and having a time. And then Michael Jackson came on the scene and made it a show. Yeah, he did. Michael Jackson, we love you, man. And now it's like, dare I say, it is, how do I want to put this? It is a turning point in a person's career when they perform at the Super Bowl. So, yes, it's meant to be entertainment. Yes, that's true. But when you don't like the person who is, for whatever reason, you don't like the person who is performing and you have to go through these lengths, where is your heart? You don't have to like it. And no one is out of pocket. I mean, that's someone's prerogative, but I'll leave it at that. I really will leave it at that because at this point, I don't even want to divulge anymore because again, I'm not worried, but I am very aware of what's going on. And again, Maria Corina Machado, she won the Nobel Peace Prize this week. And out of 328 candidates, that includes both people and organizations, she won that Peace Prize. And as we know, there were people who were up for it, one in particular. And for good, that just didn't work out. But she's still hiding in Venezuela. This is all common knowledge. This is nothing that I'm like, oh, Amber, what'd you say? No, this is all common knowledge. But the fact that there's still people in hiding. The fact that we're still pushing back on things like the Super Bowl, the things like what's happening with the young lady who's missing, and there's a lot. I know. There's so much. So at the risk of, I guess, sound like a broken record for the third time, I implore you, I challenge you, and I urge you to make sure that you are connecting with your neighbors, you're connecting with your family members, you're connecting with your community, and dare I say it, remember to vote. Because again, a lot of things that are happening in our government, we are voting or not voting people into these spaces. Your voice matters. Make sure that you, I don't want to say have your state rep's number on speed dial, but you should at least know who your state rep is and be more proactive than reactive than proactive. No, I was right the first time. More proactive than just reactive. We can all sit in our porches and talk smack all we darn well please, but if we aren't connecting and making phone calls and know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, then it's just all talk. And by the way, and here's, as you all know, I'm not the biggest fan of being voluntold, but here's what I will say. If you are not finding the organization that you're looking for, you may not find it. It may not exist. So what does that mean? It means that you may have to be the person who spearheads the very thing that you're looking for. That means one of two things. Either you got to put your pedal to the metal, or it means that you might have to look a little bit deeper, because maybe someone does have what you're looking for, but they're looking for you to, add the kerosene to it. Or put another spark in it. They're looking for your voice. They're looking for you to be the person who has the resources or has the drive to take it to a new level. There are people who are waiting for you to speak the truth, speak your truth. They're looking for you and praying for you and asking for you to do something so that they don't wake up feeling so lost. Tea moment. Because I have a lot more than I thought I would. I did a lot more talking than I normally do. Oh. So yummy. So delicious. So good. But in any event, you guys, I know there's a lot happening. We're going to be all right. We are. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be either. Well, let me take that back. Ooh. I can't tell what you do. I'm not your mom. I'm not your girl. I'm not your guy. I'm not worried because I have faith. I am a woman of faith in my own right, and I also have faith in the people that I know are doing great things. I know that when we connect, arm by arm, we're better together. I know that we can make a real difference when we make phone calls, when we sit down with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. When's the last time, I know Thanksgiving's coming up in about a month and a half or so, but when's the last time you invited someone over to your home for a cup of tea, for a cup of coffee, to just spill the tea and talk about it, to love on someone's kids, to know who's, you get where I'm going with this, because again, I already did this already. But bottom line, good people, we're going to be all right. There's a lot happening in our world, but we are going to be okay. Send a shout out to someone that you know this week. That's my assignment for you. Remind somebody that you've got their back. And I promise you, we're going to get through this. We're better together. Do not forget to take your woosahs this week, dear people. Love you a lot. You're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Love and light to you all. Peace.